Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I bring to you the results of this week in pro wrestling. Now, a little bit of a caveat. I missed Raw this week because I went and saw a movie. If you guys want a short review of that, leave that in the comments. But I will be covering NWA Power, AEW Dynamite, and Impact Wrestling, which is doing like matches they filmed, but they didn't release on TV, if that makes any sense. They call it Hidden Gems. So, it's kind of new content, but it kind of also isn't. I'll bring you up to speed when we get to it. So, sit back, relax, grab yourself your favorite beverage, and let's do this. So, of course, we start off with NWA Power, which is coming from a very interesting arena in Florida. It's very spacious. I like the look of it. We start off with tag team action as the Heavenly Butterflies, which my introduction to them, taking on the former United States Tag Team Champions, Daisy Kill and Talos. And while the Butterflies did get some of their stuff in, this was the Daisy Kill and Talos show with a win from a big boot, which that Talos throws one of the best big boots in the business, and a choke slam for them to pick up the victory. We then roll backstage for an interview with Dak Draper and Mims, the current TV champion. And it looks like we are going to have a brotherly battle from Magnum Muscle members. And it's a respect off, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to see. And Mims says, I'm going to bring my A game next week. Hope you bring yours. Then Dak extends his hand. Brotherly battle it is. And they shake. So, nice little bit of sportsmanship from the two. We'll see where we go from here. Next up, it's for the junior heavyweight title. It's Colby Corino defends against Long Island's own Joe Ocasio. Long Island represent. I'm so happy Long Island's getting more representation in pro wrestling. Back in the day, it was just Mick Foley. Now, pretty much everyone's representing. This was a very good showcase from Mr. Ocasio. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. Definitely some more of a power guy over Corino's agility. But Corino gets it done with a big old lariat and a DDT to retain his title. This next matchup was a little bit weird, as it's a triple threat match, as we are featuring Taylor Rising, Ali Rex, and Arika Dubbed. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can pronounce her name. This match started off really, really well, but ultimately it felt like it never got out of second gear, you know? Not to say it was a bad match, but at one point we see Miss Rex hit a 619, which I'm always a fan of. Big pop from the boys. And then Taylor Rising, kind of living up to her namesake, hitting a pedigree for the victory. Now, why I say that, back in WCW, the man with 3 H's, aka Triple H, was known as Terrorizing. So, it's a nice little nod to that. You then get a backstage interview with the Southern Six, who are all wearing sunglasses and acting hammered. Which, I kind of understand why CW doesn't want a part of that. Anyway. They pretty much say, look, we're the ones putting butts in seats. We're the ones getting views. We're the stars of the NWA. And it doesn't matter who you put in front of us. We're going to roll right through them. As next week, they have a 6-man tag team match against the Miserably Faithful. So that should be an interesting little matchup. We then get a video promo from Matt Cardona calling out EC3 for Paranoia, which is a CW special coming up, I think. And he's challenging for the NWA World title in a death match. So we're getting the Deathmatch King versus the Overman. Gonna be interesting to see if Mr. Cardona can reclaim his belt. You then go to the United States Tag Team title match as the Brothers of Funstruction take on the champions, the Immortals. And, of course, it starts out with some goofy stuff. Yabo starts juggling in, hacky sacks or whatever. Then throw some Brian Callis's twig and berries, if you catch my drift. And then, the brothers turn it up for a bit. It's seriously underrated how good the Brothers of Funstruction are. Are they the most technical wrestlers in the world? No. Are they fun wrestlers that know what they're doing? Absolutely. I will give them all the credit in the world. But eventually, Kratos and Odin's son do get the upper hand back due to just sheer mass. But then, all of a sudden, these two kids, that's what they're calling them. I don't know their names. I've never seen them before. And they take out the Brothers of Funstruction. So, winners by DQ are the Brothers of Funstruction. Still champions, the Immortals. Then, as the Immortals and the kids are having a little face-off, a little talk, it looks like this wasn't part of their plan. But ultimately, the Brothers of Funstruction get a little revenge on the kids, and then have a big old brawl with the Immortals. So this feud is not ending here. I'm interested to see where it goes. Hopefully it isn't another mystery box match, because that was way too convoluted. Alright, that is it for the NWA. We now move into AEW Dynamite. And we are going right into a Samoa Joe promo, which is interesting. He pretty much says, look, I'm looking for answers. I made a promise I'd guard MJF until World's End and my title shot. But last week, the devil and his goons made me a liar as I saw MJF knocked out in the back, jeopardizing my title shot. And like we all saw with MJF, near him was a weapon. And that weapon was a broken beer bottle. And I saw that it's a brand that a certain cowboy likes. And I looked backstage last week, Hangman Page was missing. Ooh. And this brings out, of course, the Hangman himself. And he comes out like a house of fire, gets right into Joe's face, pretty much says, look, you got something to say to me, Joe? Spit it out. If you think that was me, I don't care about any of this. You may not, and then Joe replies, you may not care, but I've already made up my mind, not as the judge, but as your executioner. Ooh. So we're going to get a Joe Hangman story coming up? Hell yeah. And then, of course, pretty much on cue, Samoa! Wait. Out comes Roderick Strong and the Kingdom. Roderick Strong walking without the wheelchair for once, which I'm glad to see that progression. Pretty much saying, look, you gotta listen to Hangman, man. Y'all see what's happening? It's obvious to me, as it is to everyone else here, that Max is the devil and this is all a trap. And before Roderick Strong can go any further, Hangman Adam Page with a straight right to the face. And this brings us to our first match of the evening, as Roderick Strong takes on Hangman Adam Page. And this was a testament to both workers. If you've forgotten how good either man is in the ring, they are both really excellent. Really, really good back and forth. At points, you'll see the Kingdom trying to stop Hangman, but ultimately he gets some offense on them too. Tries for a buckshot lariat, but that gets blocked. Roll up right into a clothesline, into a deadeye for a win for Hangman Adam Page. And yeah, this is going to be a fun one. I do hope the Joe Hangman Page story continues, because I think this could be an interesting one. Although I think they're pretty much players in the whole Devil storyline, in which we'll get to that in a little bit. Next up, it is the Blue League matchup. That's right, our first time seeing a Blue League on Dynamite, as Brody King takes on Andrade El Idolo. And, well, this match did start off a little slowly. Eventually, it did build up with both guys hitting pretty much the biggest moves that they can. Brody King trying to throw a crossbody but gets missed. That was interesting. Andrade with a superplex. Then hits a big old DDT from the second rope to pick up the victory. So we'll see if Brody King makes it to the next round. I kind of hope so, because I'm down for an upset. Then we get the weirdest interview of all time, as we have backstage the Von Erichs, that being Kerry and his sons Ross and Marshall. They're about to be interviewed by backstage interview. In comes Orange Cassidy, Danhausen, and Trent Beretta, in which Orange Cassidy says, look, on Rampage, I got a 6-man tag. I don't have any partners. Will you guys tag with me? And the Von Erichs are like, yeah, sure, whatever. And, God damn it. And, well, here is my issues with that. Here's my issue with that. We got the Von Erichs, who pretty much were world famous in Texas back in the territory days. You don't just have them in a backstage segment. You get them out in the ring, have them promote the movie about them that's coming out this month, and then you can have Orange Cassidy do this. You don't have them in a 2-minute backstage promo. Like, get the Von Erichs in the ring. And then, speaking of an in-ring promo, we get the return of the Golden Jets. That's Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho. And they're looking for Ricky Starks and Big Bill. They come out. They just throw insults at each other until Kenny Omega ultimately challenges Big Bill and Ricky Starks for the tag titles at World's End. Ricky Starks accepts. And yeah, that was easily one of the worst promos I have ever seen. Like, that was bad. And that's a shame. All of these guys are very charismatic. They're good on the mic. This should have been better. Next up, we get Toni Storm on commentary. Always a pleasure. As she is scouting for this next match as Ruby Soho takes on Riho. Riho making her in-ring return after making the save against Toni Storm last week. And, I'm going to say this. This match wasn't really anything special. Was it bad? No. Was it all that good? Not really. It was just... It's pretty much the token women's match on AEW, which is a shame, because AEW has such a good women's division. Anyway, after a destination unknown that gets blocked, a senton, your winner, Riho. We then get a short but sweet Wardlow video promo, where he pretty much says, I've been preparing for war all this time. No surprise I've left a path of mayhem in my wake. I've destroyed everyone in my way. And I'm going to bring the devil to his knees. MJF, your world is coming to an end. A very intense promo, and I got a funny feeling Wardlow is somehow involved with this devil stuff. I'm not sure how yet, but we'll see. Next up, we got Rush in the Gold League for the Continental Classic. We have Rush taking on Jay Lethal. Now, these two have a pretty darn significant history. They've battled for the Ring of Honor title multiple times in the Sinclair owned Ring of Honor. To some very good matches. I'm going to say that if you have Honor Club, try to go back and find them, because they're all really good. And, this match, nothing different. This was a hell of a hard-hitting matchup from two rivals who literally do not like each other. Near the end, Jay Lethal goes for a lethal injection. Rush with a rare sleeper submission for the victory. So, I guess taking a page out of Jon Moxley, who won the same way against Rush last week. Next up, we got a nice little hype video for Moxley versus Swerve Strickland later on in the evening. Cannot wait to talk about that one. Next, the other Gold League matchup as Jay White takes on Mark Briscoe. Ooh. And this one was obviously really, really good. Although it did feel a tiny little bit rushed. Maybe just a tiny bit. But, like I said, nice little big hold back and forth between the two. Rush blocking the J Driller. Tries for a roll-up, but only gets a 2 count. Eventually, Jay White hits the Blade Runner to pick up the victory. And now we move right into the main event for Dynamite as Swerve Strickland takes on Jon Moxley. And it's as good as advertised. Really, really good back and forth. These two work really, really well together. Including some nice stuff on the outside, in which Moxley beat a count of 10. Swerve hitting a back kick, a swerve stomp, only for a 2 count. Goes for the JML driver, that gets blocked. Jon Moxley hitting a roll-up to pick up the victory. So, Jon Moxley now has 12 points, leading the Gold League in the Continental Classic. But the show doesn't end on that note, as we see the Devil's minions outside the arena beating up Hangman Page. Then someone rolls up in a car. It's the Devil himself. And he points to his car. A couple of his goons have Hangman Page goozled, chokeslam on the hood of the car, and that's where it finishes. I'm gonna say this: as much as I'm still enjoying the Devil storyline, I need a little bit more progression. This kind of feels like, you know, how the Bloodline felt post Royal Rumble for a little bit. Like, it kind of felt like it was just spinning its wheels until WrestleMania. So, yeah, I guess we'll see who the Devil is. Maybe not soon, but I think we'll at least see who the few minions are. So that was AEW Dynamite. We then go into Impact Wrestling, in which is showing its hidden gems, which is, you know, stuff they taped for certain shows, didn't make it to air, so they're showing it here. And we start off the show with Alan Angels, the former 5 in the Dark Order, taking on Samurai Del Sol, the former Kalisto in WWE. And this was a nice melding of X Division style and Lucha Libre meeting in the middle. This was a fantastic bout. Eventually, Samurai hits the Salida del Sol from the top rope to pick up the victory. So, nice fun matchup. We'll see what goes on from there. Next up, we got women's tag team action as MK Ultra, that's Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich, take on Giselle Shaw and Savannah Evans. Now, obviously, this was before MK Ultra won the tag titles, so they don't have them there. They also come out for different songs, so yeah, this was a very pretty entertaining matchup, especially with Shaw and Killer Kelly, because those two work really, really well together. Evans and Slamovich actually work together really well too. But ultimately, after a double powerbomb, your winners, MK Ultra, in what was a fun little palate cleanser matchup for this next big fight, as it's a street fight between Diener of the Design and PCO. And yeah, Diener gets some good stuff in the start. PCO decides to take over like he does. It's a de-animator, which this is insane. This dude's doing this. He's been wrestling since like the 80s, which is insane to me. And right before PCO could hit the PCO salt, in comes the rest of the Design. That's Big Con, and at that time, Alan Angels. Who comes out to make the save? Sami Callihan, Madman Fulton, and I forget the other dude's name. One of the Christ brothers. The good one. That's not a perv. They come out, make the save, run off the Design. Sami Callihan with a cactus driver. PCO hits the PCO salt to pick up the victory. We then have a big announcement as international superstar and current AAA Mega Champion El Hijo del Vikingo will be in Vegas for Hard to Kill and the taping afterwards. So, yeah, I'm wondering what Vikingo is going to be doing at Hard to Kill. Should be interesting. We then get a nice Will Ospreay, Josh Alexander hype video for their next upcoming match at the next TNA taping. We then get this very interesting tag team match as Dirty Dango and Alpha Bravo take on Channing Decker, who is a local Canadian boy, as during this part of the tapings they're in Canada, and he's teaming with Tommy Dreamer. And yeah, I'm gonna say this: Channing Decker, I want to see more of him on TNA. He worked really well with Dango, at least. Alpha Bravo definitely needs a little bit more work, but he served his purpose. And Tommy Dreamer's Tommy Dreamer. I know there's a lot of discourse about him taking up time on Impact. I still kind of like Tommy Dreamer. Like, he's not the most technical of wrestlers, and he's lost a bit of a step. But man, I got some respect for the man. He goes out there, gives it 110% every time he walks into a ring. And also Channing Decker with some very interesting attire. Let's say that. And then after a low blow and a Dreamer DDT, your winners, Channing Decker and Tommy Dreamer. Like I said, not exactly the most technical match in the world, but I am interested to see where Mr. Decker goes from here. Next up, we got the Knockouts title on the line as Taylor Wilde takes on Deonna Purrazzo. Taylor Wilde hasn't been seen in Impact in a while. I'm hoping she's okay. And this could be the last time we see Purrazzo in an Impact/TNA ring, as she's looking through free agency, which, good on her. So, yeah, this was a very interesting match. Mostly Purrazzo fighting off Kylan King, only to get lock in an armbar, only for Wilde to break out of it. Eventually, Purrazzo does hit the Queen's Gambit for the victory. I would have hoped this matchup would have gone on a little bit longer, but it was still a nice, fun matchup. And hopefully both these ladies are doing well. And Finalamo, and very interesting little matchup, as Yuya Uemura, in pretty much his last match in Impact, as he's going back to Japan, taking on the Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander. And this, best way I can describe this was art at its finest. This is what wrestling should be. Both guys looked really, really great. Bunch of times, Yuya countered out of the C4 spike, which, that's impressive. He goes for the armbar a couple of times, couldn't get the submission on Mr. Alexander. Eventually, Josh does get the C4 spike to pick up the victory, as we all say so long to Yuya in Impact Wrestling. Hopefully we see him in TNA again, because Yuya's underrated, man. Anyway, that was This Week in Pro Wrestling. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like the video. Comment what you thought in This Week in Pro Wrestling. And I shall see you next time for MLW Fusion. We'll see about SmackDown and Rampage. And then AEW Collision. Should be a very interesting one. And until next time, peace.